this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 249. Sorry, I just had to think there. Was I on the right week? Now I'm just checking the name of what we're actually making today so as I actually get it right. We are making, oh my goodness, now I've lost the video. We are making paperclips. Pocket paperclips for our junk journals. So they are an altered paperclip and they have pockets on them. So what you're going to need if you would like to make some of these pocket paperclips for your junk journals, you will need some paper. Now I have brought along printables again, and I do say this all the time, that's because that's what I predominantly have these days. If you don't have printables, you can use scrapbook paper, you could use book page. Again, and I do say this most weeks, if you're using book page, I would recommend doubling it up so it's thicker. You could use sheet music. Again, the same thing would apply. I would double it up so it's thicker. You could use, you know, magazine pages, anything like that, really. Play around and see what suits you best. You are going to need some glue. Now, I've got my Anita's Tacky glue. This is a PVA based glue, so I may use some of this. Or I have got my hot glue gun, which I will probably favour because obviously I'm doing a video and I just want these to be glued instantly. If you don't have a hot glue gun, your PVA glue or, you know, whatever glue that you like is fine. You're just going to have to kind of like press them for slightly longer. And when you're doing a video, obviously that's not really that helpful. Then you're going to need some paper clips. Now, I'm using these large ones. Now, these are the 3-inch paper clips, so you know they're the very big ones. They often tend to have that little kind of crinkly look to them, so I've got a bunch of those. If you've got smaller paper clips, you know, like the 2-inch ones, you could probably use those. I personally don't get on particularly brilliantly with, you know, making very tiny things, so I'm going to kind of steer clear from that, and I'm going to use the large 3-inch paper clips. I'm then going to try using my stapler this time. I don't think I have done this before, but I'm favouring the staples lately over the glue for gluing the sides of the pockets because that gives you maximum space inside your pocket. And I will describe that more when we get making, so that, you know, anyone who doesn't quite know what I'm talking about, because it perhaps isn't that evident, then I will, you know, highlight that as we go. So stapler. Now this is one of those Tim Holtz tiny attachers. You don't have to use that if you've got a regular stapler, then, you know, that's absolutely fine too. So, you know, whatever you like. You could stitch these on your sewing machine. Again, I try not to do that in a mass making because not everyone has a sewing machine, but you could stitch them. And again, I will point out where you could stitch them. Aside from that, I like to always have a dried wet wipe on hand just to smoosh out the glue. You may want to have a, you know, glue spreader if you're using glue instead of the staples and things. It's up to you. And then optional extras, you may like to have a blendy tool with some distress ink if you like that look. So how do you make these? Oh, and crucially, you are going to need some scissors or a paper trimmer, however you like to trim your papers down. So how do we make these? Let's get making. So I'm going to put these papers on my lap so that I can just pull them in as we're going. So first things first, you want to obviously get your paper so it's approximately 3 inches. Oh my goodness, and has luck had it? I mean, that never ever happens. This just happens to be a scrap that is exactly 3 inches. So yeah, well, exactly the size of the paperclip anyway. I don't know about 3 inches. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut it down. Now, what we're then going to do is make our pocket. So I'm going to cut it down here like that. You're going to have a piece that's obviously hooked over the paperclip, so like that. And then you want to make your pocket. So I'm going to put this onto the paperclip first. Now, I'm doing it this way because this scrap is not that big and it wasn't straight, if you see what I mean. But for my other ones going forward, I will probably just fold them up. But this one I'm needing to turn around because this section I'm not sure would have enough width to make the pocket, if you see what I mean. I mean, actually, I think it would have, but only just. So I'm going to turn it around like that, okay? So all I'm going to do is, first of all, stick my back down onto the paperclip. Just using my hot glue for that. And this is where I'm talking about, you know, the hot glue being very beneficial for not having to then be pressing it down. If you're using your wet glue, you could obviously, you know, press that down, or maybe use like some pegs or bulldog clips or something like that to hold that, to get it to glue down. And then you want to make your pocket. Now, I'm using this paper here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it over so as I can see round the back, and I'm just going to trim it down roughly the size of my base piece. Oops, like that. Okay, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to just staple this there, 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 and then I might do a line of glue along the bottom. Oops, because the bottom is not obviously where I was talking about that it's shrinking the size of the pocket, but the staples allow you maximum space inside your pocket. If I glued this is just something I'm favouring lately. Now, obviously, again, personal choice, but I kind of feel like sometimes, you know, even with the thinnest bead of glue, what happens is the glue obviously spreads in, you know, as you press it down. And so what started as a line of glue there might end up right over here. So your pocket then, you know, that on both sides becomes much narrower. Whereas if you're using the staples, your pocket's really the entire room between the staples, if that makes sense. So, you know, just something I'm kind of trying today, trying these with the staples. I personally quite like that look. I realise not everybody likes the stapled looks, but, you know, I actually think that's really quite cute. So then what you've got is you've got your altered paperclip there with your pocket in the bottom. So, you know, they're quite cute, aren't they? But like I say, up to you really. This is where you could stitch around on your sewing machine. So you could actually make all your pockets to fit your paperclip, not glue them onto the paperclip, but just have them all ready to size, take them to your sewing machine and then stitch the pockets on. That would be another alternative. You could obviously glue down around all sides. Up to you exactly how you would like to do them. So let's do another one. That was the Vintage Desk set 1, by the way. So I'm going to make one here. This is from my butterfly collection papers. So again, just going to take it in. Now I'm going to use this. Whoops. Oh my goodness. This one has a bit of a guide. And I'm just going to fold my paper down like that. And that's giving me approximately my 3-inch size. Okay, so I can just cut that down like that. Oops. Like that. Okie dokie. So we'll save this one for another day because we might make something with that another day. So this is my pocket that, or my base piece that's going to hook over the paper clip like that. So hook it on. So this is what I'm talking about, you know, if you wanted to sew them, I personally would probably get them all ready like this, or at least have enough so you've got enough to hang over there. And then what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to fold up where I would like my pocket to be, because this one actually, you know, this is the right width all the way down the page. And then I'm just going to fold it down like that. And then hopefully when I trim this off, I'm going to end up with the size pocket that I would like. So that piece, and then take this bit here like that, turn that over, and that's my little pocket there. Actually, I might prefer it slightly bigger, so I misjudged that. So yeah, I'm going to go for this piece instead, but there we go. So again, just, you know, through ease of, or for ease of kind of putting this in or putting this on, I'm going to staple it down like that, and then open it here, put my glue in, or put my glue on along the bottom like that, press this down, okie dokie, and then here 1, 2, 3. So I'm just favouring 3 staples, 1 at the top, 1 in the middle, 1 at the bottom, and then over here just again take my hot glue, press that down like that. Okay. So they're pretty quick, aren't they? You know, they're very effective looking, you know, really nice, really handy to use, but they're literally taking like a few seconds to make. So, you know, or a couple of minutes to make. They're really very fast indeed. So I think we're going to get quite a lot of these done in this mass making session, hopefully. So yeah, let's just kind of relax now, have a nice time, have a catch up, have a productive hour or, you know, 45 minutes or so. And make a bunch of these, have a catch up and have a nice time. So I'm just going to get my papers. I'm going to do all of mine assembly line style. And what I mean by that is, you know, doing one part at a time, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to take my pieces as I want to make them like that. And then I'm going to do all my folding, for example, then all of my cutting, all of my other folds, etc. So that I hopefully get a whole bunch done. So I will try and remember to tell you the papers. So this is my new Valentine's collection paper, which is called the Love Collection. So it's not strictly speaking Valentine's. It doesn't have any Valentine words or anything like that, but it has got some couples and things like that on it. But yeah, very suitable for lots of different occasions, not necessarily only for Valentine's. So yeah, I hope that you like it. So I use a couple of pages from that because obviously I've been busy making it and yeah, I'm dying to use some. So let me just pull in another page from it. Oh no, I think I've done all the other pages on double-sided. I'm always just such a hoarder when it comes to, oh no, maybe I haven't. Yep, I have. Yeah, when it comes to double-siding things, I don't then like using them, which is like crazy behavior. So this is another page from that Valentine's paper. So I'm going to just take it in here. So again, just folding in all of my pieces to get my 3-inch approximate lines. There we go. So I'm going to do all of those bits first, just to get my 3-inch pieces. So this one's my Avery collection in the browns. And again, just going to fold that in like that. So I hope everybody's week has started out well. For those people who watch my channel, you'll know that I generally film these on a Monday to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So my week's literally only just started. It's a really grey, drab, horrible day. This is my King's, and I can never remember whether it's King Street or King's Park. I don't know why that always throws me, but for some reason it always does. Always has, always does. So yeah, still throwing me now. Just can't remember, I'm afraid. Haven't used this paper for a really long time, but I did love it so much. I think I did make a journal from it, or a folio. Can't remember, maybe a journal. Anyway, it would be in my archive of videos, but yeah, I haven't used it for a long time and I do really, really love it. So I found it in my scraps and thought, oh, let's make some from that. And this is my Avery in the, I think this is probably from the Duck, Egg and Blues, although I wouldn't swear by it, but anyway. Yeah, so my week's only just started. It's so grey and drab today. Absolutely horrible and miserable out there. It's pretty cold as well. I went to the gym this morning and it felt very, very cold. I've got like a sweatshirt that I wear there that says literally freezing. So yeah, one of my sweatshirts, it says literally freezing. And don't get me wrong, I don't only wear it on cold days. I often wear it, you know, in the summer and, you know, whenever I need to wear it, if you know what I mean. Right, I've got these scraps where they're smudged, so I'm going to make use of these as well. This is my Meandering Meadow, I think, kit, although I'm now questioning that as well. So, oh gosh, throwing myself off really. But anyway, yeah, so I wore it again today, my literally freezing sweatshirt. And like I say, I mean, I do still wear it in the summer and things like that, you know, when it's a bit nippy in the morning. So, I mean, I don't only limit myself to wearing it when it's literally freezing, but my goodness, today, oh, this is from the Paris collection. Today it was very apt because it is literally freezing, this is from my ladies collection papers, so I'm just going to take that in. So yeah, very, very chilly, and looks like it's about to chuck it down with rain. It has been kind of drizzling on and off, but I don't think it's raining at the moment. I can't really tell, but It's, yeah, been very, very cold anyway this morning. So one of those miserable, damp, horrible days. And it was like that over the weekend. Yeah, not great weather. Although we are February, so hey, what's to be expected. So what's new? Nothing really. I've been working and that's about it really. So yes, nothing exciting to report at all. This was my Bluebird and Blossoms, and this is my, I think it's called the Isabella papers. So yeah, just going to use these. Yeah, I've just been working. So I have been madly printing and things like that. I've finished off my Valentine's, which I said, you know, is actually the Love Collection papers. So I've been doing that. I've been madly printing to get the printed paper pads in my shop again, because I had promised that last week and then I just didn't get them done. So yeah, the printing really takes rather a long time. And then picking what to have in the pads, that all takes quite a long time. So I had full intentions of getting them all ready last week, and it just kind of went by the by really, because it, yeah, just ended up taking longer than I expected. I mean, literally, I'm still printing this morning, but I have completed quite a few paper pads now. So they are restocked in my shop. I know that several people had messaged saying, you know, when was I going to get some more? So, yep, they are restocked now in my shop. So that's on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website. So, yep, that's all good if you were looking for any paper pads. I will be putting some more in. My printer's been playing up. I've had to also spend 40 minutes cleaning it this morning. So, yeah, it's all just, you know, silly kinds of jobs that you would rather not be doing. But anyway, hopefully it's going to be printing and not playing up now. So yeah, the printed paper pads are in there. I've put a couple more kits together in the pouches. So there is one kit left from my previous restock, so that's still in there. And then put another, sorry, got some glue on there, another couple of kits. So I just thought I would quickly show you these. Now these are those massive kits. They contain what I would say is pretty much all you would need to fill a whole journal. I've tried to coordinate them, all the bits inside. They are yeah, not necessarily representative of the colour of the pouch. This one is kind of blues and pinks, and you get, you know, lots of different pockets. I think there's somewhere about 18 or 20 pockets and things in there. So I would say enough to fill your journal, obviously depending on the size of your journal. They are not enough to stuff your journal, if you see what I mean. So, you know, they're all the pockets and things like that that you would need to glue into a journal, depending on the size, but they do not contain the things that would go in the pockets. So you would then need to obviously add your own tags, journal cards, that kind of stuff. But there's two kits. They obviously are, you know, completely different. So I'll just quickly show you this one. Just very quickly, because this then, you know, means I don't have to do a restock video, which is obviously not everyone necessarily enjoys watching those. So it's quite good to just be able to show very quickly. So this one is strictly speaking reds and pinks themed. And again, I can't remember, but 18 pieces ish, 18 to 20 pieces, something like that in there. And again, I would say, you know, all the pieces really to stuff a journal, not including the pieces that go in the pockets, if you see what I mean. So it's all the pockets, but not the pieces that go in the pockets. So yeah, that's those. And then I've also put a massive journal in, which is, yeah, a huge one, which I'd been finishing off for a couple of weeks now. So I'll just very quickly show you that. This one is the journal. Huge. I will do a flip through, of course, of this, but I haven't filmed that yet. But it's a ring bound journal. They're like my favourite types because you can be very, very over the top with, you know, everything that you put in them. So yeah, it's pretty huge. Loads of gorgeous, yummy things. Yeah, so that's the journal. So they are all listed on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website. but like I say, I will do a flip through of the journal, but I just thought I would very quickly just show you those things now. Yeah, so I've been busy doing those things. What else have I been busy doing? Had to buy my daughter some school shoes. So, yep, that was at the weekend. So, yeah, I'd obviously bought her some in September. I have to say they didn't last 5 minutes. You know, they were kind of falling apart by the beginning of December, which was, you know, pretty rubbish. But let's hope that these just carry her through to the summer now, you know, when she finishes for the summer. So, because I don't want to have to be buying more school shoes. So, hopefully these will get her through. Oh, my daughter. So, yeah. Now, I've talked about this in a video, but I have to say it may have been a video. I'm filming another series. Yay, filming another series, because I'm trying to do that where I promised that I will try and do a series a month. So I'm filming another series at the moment, in the middle of doing that. So I apologise now, because it may be that I've talked about this in one of those videos. Or it could have been that I did talk about it in the mass making last week. I actually can't remember. So anyway. So the Friday before last, so like a week ago Friday, my daughter came home from school. She'd been playing some sort of ball game and she'd fallen over and bent her fingers backwards. And, you know, obviously she came home, she said they'd really hurt, you know, and they were very swollen. So it's on her right hand and it was these two fingers, very swollen. But she could still bend them. So, you know, obviously I'm no expert, no nurse or anything like that, but you know what it's like. Obviously thought I knew best, so I said, oh, you know, they're obviously not broken because you can bend them. They're, you know, they'll just need to heal up. So on, I think it was on Tuesday, I got a call from the school. She'd hurt them again. She'd like bent them back again. I mean, yeah, what were the odds of that happening again? But anyway, so obviously she'd highlighted them again to the teachers. And so the teacher phoned and just said, look, you know, and he also said, they're obviously not broken, you know, because she can bend them. And I said, yep, my thoughts entirely. He said, but equally, they may need, you know, like a little bandage thing to sort of hold them together type thing while the swelling goes down. And so she doesn't keep on like, you know, rebashing them. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I took her to A&E, which is accident and emergency. Anyway, we had quite a long wait there and yeah, went in and then had them x-rayed. And I stood behind the screen. So she was having the x-ray. I stood like behind the screen so I could see the screen of what was coming up on the x-ray. And straight away I thought, oh, I felt like I could see a little kind of bit in the bone. And I thought, oh, maybe they are broken. So, well, just one I thought looked like it might have been broken. So I was looking at my daughter and I was kind of laughing and pulling faces, you know, like, I mean, I wish I could show you the face, but, you know, like, yikes, oh my goodness, what's going on with your finger? Ah, it's going to have to come off. That kind of face, you know? Just picture what that kind of face would look like with the whole drama of, oh my goodness, you know, your finger's going to have to be amputated. That type of face. And I said to the woman, oh, is that a break there? And the lady, obviously, in the x-ray, you know, department, she said, oh, you know, we can't discuss the results with you. You know, the person back at the other area has to kind of like look at the results and tell you. So I said, oh, okay, you know, anyway. So we went back round, obviously, you know, waiting for the results. And at this point, you know, I said to my daughter, well, I'm no expert, obviously, the fact that I hadn't taken her in the first place, you know, with my expert opinion of, oh, hey, you can bend them, therefore they're not broken. Oh. I said to her, but, you know, no expert, but I do feel like maybe your finger is broken. You know, just finger. I thought finger. So she was like, oh my goodness, really? What did you see? What did you see? So, of course, I Googled, you know, what does broken fingers look like on an x-ray? And sure enough, as soon as like the images came up, I thought, oh, that is what I saw on the x-ray. Like the little line between the bones looking like it's sort of, I mean, only very slightly. It wasn't like gaping apart, but, you know, just a, you know, millimetre gap kind of thing between the bones. So I showed her that and said, well, that's a bit how yours looked, you know. So we were sort of chuckling a bit. Anyway, the woman came back, you know, and she looked at the x-ray, and then she was laughing, and she said, well, turns out both your fingers are broken. Could not believe it. Not even just one of them. Both of them were broken. Oh my goodness. I mean, so much for my expert opinion of, hey, they're not broken. You can still bend them. They're clearly fine. You know, yeah, not fine at all. The only thing that I will say, you know, in my defence, they didn't actually do anything anyway. You know, the woman said to me, you know, the nurse or whoever she is. I mean, you know, I don't know what her job kind of title is what I'm saying. She may have been I don't know, specialist, or I don't know what her job title was, but she sounded like she was quite surprised as well. But yeah, she said, well, all they'll do is basically put give a little, it was like a joined up bandage. So it had like 2 finger holes, but like a thing here, sort of, you know, between your fingers. So she just said, oh, you know, if she just wears this and tries her hardest not to be bending her fingers really, you know, try not to obviously bash them, try not to obviously bend them back at all, or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was what the advice was. So, I mean, in my defence, I thought, well, even if I hadn't have taken her, to be fair, they didn't do anything anyway. So we weren't sort of any worse off. But, I mean, I'm not saying that was fine, but just for sort of easing my conscience, I was like, oh, well, they didn't really do anything anyway, so she's not any better off for having gone. But the funny thing is, so we come out of the hospital, and they did just say, oh, you know, you get a phone call from the fracture clinic, you know. So they just phoned me like the next day and just said, oh, you know, just try and make sure she keeps them moving, but doesn't try and over bend them for the, you know, foreseeable future kind of thing until they're ready to bend, but just keep them flexible, you know. So yeah, that was kind of the advice. But when we left the hospital, so my daughter and I were obviously laughing quite a lot about this, and her brother was at home, and I'd already had to message him because I'd picked my daughter up slightly early from school to try and avoid having to sit in A&E for too long. So I thought, let's get a head start. I'll go there a little bit early, and hopefully we won't be, you know, there for hours and hours. So when I'd messaged my son, I obviously said, oh, you know, I've taken your sister to A&E, blah, 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 you know, you've got to go and have a look at her fingers, you know. So we're going home, and I said to my daughter, I bet you're slightly pleased, aren't you? I said, I bet you're slightly excited. And she was kind of at first laughing and saying, excited? Mum, I've got 2 broken fingers. And I said, come on. I said, is there a part of you that can't wait now to go and text your friends and be like, they are broken, my fingers are broken? So she was laughing and said, yeah. And when we were then going home, she said to me, don't tell my brother. So I said, okay. So she said, let's pretend to him that they're not broken when we first get in. So I said, okay. So we get home, and straight away, obviously, she couldn't wait. She's in her room. She's straight away texting her friends, you know, oh, my finger's broken, you know. So her brother, who's upstairs in his room, so I, you know, went up to his room, and he's saying to me, oh, how did you get on, you know? And I was laughing and sort of trying to keep the joke up that they weren't broken. So I laughed. I said, oh, yeah, she's just been the boy who cried wolf. There's nothing wrong with them. You know, they're fine. And do you know what he said? Instantly, he laughed, and he said to me, they are broken, aren't they? I was like, no. So he said, I know they're broken. He said, because if they weren't broken, she'd have come in miserable, you know, crying and making a fuss. He said, the fact that they're, you know, she's come in happy as Larry, that's because they are broken. So I just laughed, you know, and didn't really say anything. And then called her up, and she obviously then came up, and he straight away said to her, they are broken, aren't they? She was saying no. And he said exactly what he had said to me about, I know that they're broken. He said, because you've come in such a good mood. I mean, the irony, why would you be in such a good mood? Because your fingers are broken. But so then obviously she then was laughing. So yeah, she obviously couldn't wait to go to school the next day and be telling everybody, you know, oh, my fingers are broken. She couldn't wait to tell the teacher, oh, my fingers are broken, you know. And of course, she said to me, oh, isn't this going to be a tale to tell, Mum? You know, about the time when my fingers were broken and then you just didn't take me to A&E. So, yeah, she's quite chuffed, to be honest, secretly chuffed. I mean, I did feel bad, but to be honest, the day that she'd done it, although she was, you know, she was obviously saying that they were hurting and she was making a fuss when she was, say, like putting her shoes on or, you know, she'd done her homework and, oh, my goodness, you know, her writing was all over the place because she's obviously right-handed and, you know, she couldn't really hold the pen. And I was saying to her, oh, my goodness, look at the state you've made of your homework, you know. Felt a bit unsympathetic about that. But, yeah, what was strange was the day that she'd done it. So when she got in, that night, she goes to a little youth club now. They've got like a new youth club that they've just recently opened. And she came in and she was kind of couldn't wait to go to youth club. So, you know, kind of in my defence, why would I think they were broken? Because it wasn't even like she was in pain, not wanting to go out. She didn't ask for any painkillers or anything, you know. She was just like, moaned about them a bit, went and got changed, got ready to go to her youth club, you know. And other than the bit of moaning, but mainly, let's be honest, it was when I was saying things like, you know, oh, we're going for a dog walk, put your boots on. Then, of course, she would moan a lot. Or, you know, things that she wasn't necessarily pleased about doing. That was when it became, oh, my fingers are so painful. Or doing her homework, for example. Oh, my goodness, my fingers are really hurting. The rest of the time, she was more than happy to be going out to youth club. The day it actually happened, she was happy to go to the park. You know, all of those kinds of things. Not the day it happened, obviously, because she was going to youth club. But, you know, all of those things. So I think, well, no wonder nobody thought they were broken, because she wasn't really making enough of a fuss. Only when it suited her, only when it kind of like was in her interests to get out of doing something she didn't really want to do. Anyway, yeah, long story short, they are in fact broken and she couldn't have been more chuffed. So yeah, I texted a couple of my friends and I'd said, oh, I'm at the hospital at the moment at A&E, you know. And then later when they said, oh, what was the result? And I just said, yep, they're broken. I said, wow, she couldn't have been more thrilled. She was pleased as punch. Pleased as punch that they were broken. So, yeah. Honestly, kids, they're just so funny, aren't they? So, yep, she was chuffed about that. But, oh my goodness, I am terrible. Absolutely terrible when it comes to medical type issues. You know, I definitely would not make a nurse at all. I mean, we shockingly don't have plasters ever in the house. We don't have painkillers in the house. You know, like none of those things. Just really appalling at those types of things. Don't know why, really. I mean, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think my family are like that, as in, you know, I don't think they particularly have painkillers and things like that in the house either. I don't think it's just me. They do have painkillers, but what I'm saying is I don't really ever see them taking them. They do have them, is the difference. I mean, I literally don't even have them. So, you know, like if ever she is ill or any of us are ill, you know, it's always, oh no, now I've got to pop out and buy some cold and flu or ibuprofen or, I don't know, paracetamols or whatever. You know, nobody's ever actually got whatever it is that you need because we never have the things in the house. I mean, a friend came around once and her daughter, I can't remember what she did. Oh, she fell over on our way back from the school and I think she grazed her knee was what she did. She grazed her knee and of course I didn't have any plasters. So yeah, when they got here, I was then like, oh, I haven't got any plasters, you know. So yeah, a bit embarrassing really, but anyway, just, I mean, some people are really great, aren't they, in a sort of medical situation. Nope, I'm not great at all. In fact, shockingly terrible. So yeah, just as well I'm not a nurse. Right, okay. run out of the big paper clips now. I've only got this one and it's all bent out. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, let's just do, oh, let's do this one. So we've got some different looks. Yeah, so that was quite exciting, you know, in a strange sort of way. What else? Trying to think what else has been going on. What have I watched on TV? So I have watched something called Castaway. Now, no, not the Tom Hanks movie, which is a good film, obviously. No, this was called Castaway. It was on Channel 5. So if you've got that BritBox thing, you know, and you're not in the UK, then you might be able to get it on there. Really enjoyed it, I have to say. Yeah, it was really good. It was with the lady Sheridan Smith. Now, she was in Gavin and Stacey. She was Smithy's sister. I have to think there. Smithy's sister, she was. She's really good actress. Yeah, I really like her. So, yeah, it was very good. Really did quite enjoy it. Now, that was a recommendation of my mum and dad's. So, yeah, they said, oh, watch that. We really enjoyed it. So I did. So that's been what I watched last week. I think it was 5 episodes or something like that. But I really did really enjoy it. So I would recommend that. Obviously, there was a nasty plane crash. And, yeah, it was... I was going to say a little bit like Lost. It wasn't really like Lost. But, you know, they're in a plane crash, end up on a desert island, and it all kind of goes on from there, really. So, yeah, would recommend that. I'm still persevering with that series called Riviera that I had been watching the week before, I think. I'm still persevering with it. I have to say it's going on quite a lot. Oh, just need to put more staples in. It's going on quite a lot. And I don't know whether my not enjoying it is partly just because I'm not really watching it properly because I've been quite busy doing other things. You know, sometimes I'm not really focused properly on what I'm watching, and therefore saying something's not necessarily good is, you know, a bit mean because it's probably perfectly good, but I'm just not concentrating on watching it, you know, properly. Yeah, I had really been quite enjoying it, and then I'm on actually season 2 now, and there's 3 seasons. The characters are changing quite a lot, which probably does happen in real life situations, doesn't it? You change and respond to what's going on. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's something to put on every night that I don't have to think, oh, what shall I watch? So from that perspective, I'm loving it, because I hate that trawling through the channels trying to find something to watch. That's very annoying always. Yeah, so I'm going to glue the backs down all together. So we'll just do it like this, I think. Yeah, that's one thing I've watched. I feel like I have been to the cinema. Now I'm trying to think, what did I watch at the cinema? Oh, I went and watched that film Flight Risk. So this was with Mark Wahlberg. And now I don't know what this actress's name is, but she was the actress who was in Downton Abbey. And she was also in that Guy Ritchie film called The Gentleman that had Hugh Grant in it. She's such a good actress. Yeah, really hugely versatile. I've seen her in quite a few things now, and sometimes takes me a while to think, is that her? Because she's so good, and she just, yeah, really kind of like very, very versatile. So, yeah, she was in it. But Mark Wahlberg, oh my goodness, he was so nasty. Absolutely awful. I mean, I find him quite a good actor as well. And, you know, he's quite easy on the eye, isn't he? So I always quite like watching him. But do I think he normally plays a nice guy? I think he does probably normally play a reasonably nice guy. Well, he certainly didn't play a nice guy in that. He was absolutely vile. Really played a horrible character. So, yeah, really good. And I don't know whether I should say, really, although I think this was in the trailer. He had the weirdest hairdo going on. that I've ever seen. Yeah, it's worth watching just from that perspective. But yeah, that was okay. It was sort of like a predictable type one, but it was okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I think, is actually save my cutting, do all of that the same, because actually I haven't really been assembly lining these particularly brilliantly now that I've started assembling them. So yeah, anyway, it was okay. Predictable, but you know, perfectly watchable. Oh my goodness, that one's rubbish, isn't it? I've made that way too short. It was because I was trying to, you know, make use of quite a small piece of paper. I'm just wondering whether I could extend that and put a different piece of paper on the front, just because it otherwise feels like it's very small. Could do that, I suppose. Yeah, should we do that? So from that perspective, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue this together across there. I mean, ridiculous, because yeah, I obviously cut that apart in the first place, but at the time I thought I was going to have enough for a pocket, but as it happens I haven't. So there we go. Right, yeah, so anyway, that it was okay. Sort of recommend it, but I mean, I'm not saying definitely rush to the cinema to watch it, but you know, if it came on Netflix or something, it's worth a watch, really. It was quite adrenaline based, I suppose. It was okay, yeah. So that was my viewing at the cinema. And then, oh, last night, it was quite late actually, and I don't normally put films on if it's a bit late, but I wasn't in the mood for watching that Riviera. I've watched it recently. And I'd seen the trailer come up lots of times, you know, on Netflix for that film. Oh gosh, what was it called? I've suddenly gone blank. Oh, Nearly Pregnant, or Expecting to be Pregnant, or oh gosh, what was it called? Oh, Kinda Pregnant was what it was called. And it's with, oh gosh, what is her name? This is terrible. Every time I come to speak now, my mind's going completely blank. Oh, what's the girl's name? Amy Schumacher. Schwimmer. Oh, no. Schumacher? Is it Amy Schumacher? Schwimmer that's David Schwimmer from Friends, isn't it? I think it's Amy Schumacher. But I'm not sure. Anyway, her. She was in it, and yeah, I've seen it. What am I doing? Yeah, I've seen it advertised a few times and thought, oh, I'll give that a go. I had kind of low expectations for it, really, because it looked a bit odd, you know. It was actually quite good. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I mean, I was just sort of in bed watching it on my own, you know, without the kids or anything. So, yeah, it was all right. I mean, again, wouldn't, like, madly rush to watch it. Wouldn't necessarily watch it loads of times, but if you're just thinking, you know, you'd like something just quick and easy to chuck on and not have to concentrate on too much, I would say it's well worth watching. Obviously it turned out to be like a bit of a love story, so it had a bit of a little nice love story at the end. Yeah, and who doesn't like that, to be honest? So yeah, that was okay. So that was what I watched yesterday. So that's probably all of my viewing that I've been doing. Just trying to think anything else at all. Oops. Yeah, just want to say a massive thank you to anybody who's made a purchase, obviously, over the last week or so. Really do appreciate your support. So, yeah, thank you so much. I hope that you like whatever it is that you've purchased. So, you know, be that in my Etsy shop. Oh, my goodness, look at my stapling. That's terrible. Might as well have glued it, because I've stapled so far over on those. Let's just trim that down, because that's shockingly bad. Yeah, I hope that you're pleased with anything that you have purchased. So really do appreciate it. And like I say, I'm now in the... I haven't even folded this on. What's going on? Haven't even... no, now I'm talking rubbish. I am now in the process of filming my next series. So, yep, I yeah, just racing ahead, kind of filming it. The thing is with filming, I don't know about you guys. If you are someone who films, let me know what you think to this. But I have to film when I have to film, if you know what I mean. I have to make digis when I have to make digis. I can't just sit down and think, oh, I have to film a series. Even though sometimes, maybe I do need to. But if I'm not feeling it creatively, I'm not in the filming zone or in the crafting zone, I can't then film. I'm sort of like, I struggle then to film anything. And it's exactly the same with... oh, I've got this horrible feeling this pocket's going to be too small as well. It's exactly the same when it comes to... oh, just about get that on there. It's exactly the same when it comes to digis. Even though sometimes I think, oh, I must make that. I mean, point in case is something like, say, Halloween or Christmas, or, when there's like a season that I need to make a digi for. I keep then sitting down, and if I'm not in the zone to be making digis, I cannot pull them together. So I will sit down and I will sit down and I will sit down, and they just won't come together. And that's a bit how I am with filming. If I'm not sort of in the zone for filming, no matter how hard I try, I am not going to be able to film anything. Yeah, well, I mean, I might film something, but it will be pretty rubbish. I'm not going to be sort of in my flow of being able to just film and create something, because it will be very stalled. Yeah, it's quite hard, and I don't know whether that's just something that happens with everybody really, but I think it probably does, to be honest. I mean, we all talk about when we miss our crafty mojos or lose our crafty mojos, and it's just that really. So it's kind of losing your crafty mojo, but on a bigger scale, because it's losing your crafty mojo and your ability to be filming, or losing your crafty mojo and your ability therefore to do digis, for example. Yeah, I mean, it's so frustrating when that happens, to be honest. And honestly, that happens frequently, I find. So yeah, it's very, very frustrating, but definitely it's bad enough with the digis, but obviously you're not really affecting anybody particularly. It's just sort of frustrating for you as the creator. It's even worse like with videos, because obviously you can't get them to come together. And maybe it's something like, well, like now that I've said, oh, I'm going to do a series once a month, I feel now obliged to do that. So I hope that I will be able to pull them off. But yeah, so I have been doing filming a series, and touch wood, so far it's going okay. If I get time after this, I'm going to film another episode of it. My dad's coming around to do a little job for me, so yeah, I need some light switches changing, because my lights aren't working now. So, well, not all of them, but just my bedroom bedside table lights. So yeah, he's coming to change the lights switch. So hopefully they will be working, because my goodness, that's frustrating, I have to say. But yeah, so if I get time, I will film another episode today. If not, I shall obviously have to be filming tomorrow. Well, I will be filming tomorrow, because I've only done 3 episodes so far, so I've got quite a way to go. But yeah, I hope that it's going to be a flowing day. If I have to wait till tomorrow, I hope it's going to be a flowing day. Just depends what time Dad comes today to do the lights. So we shall see. Right, there we go. Okay. can't remember whether I said this or not in a previous video, but so I really do apologise if I'm repeating myself. But welcome back to the lovely Joey DeFee. So I can't remember, and definitely I have left a comment on her video, and she replied to me saying how lovely it was and how thrilling it was to see her back and her lovely videos. So I know that, you know, I have said that to her. I don't know whether I have said it on video or whether I have just meant to say it. I may have meant to say it last week and not actually said it, or I may have said it. So I apologise if I'm repeating myself. But anyway, if I am repeating myself, yes, Joey DeFee, if you see this video, it's so lovely to have you back. And I hope that you are thriving and doing really, really well. We have all missed you so much, and yeah, it's so lovely to have you back. So I'm sure that everybody feels the same there. And I obviously read some of the comments on your first comeback video, and everyone was obviously really thrilled to see you back. So yeah, I hope that you're doing brilliant, and just so lovely to have you back. But I'm sure that you must have felt so nervous doing that first video. You know, I know at the end you obviously got very emotional, but yeah, I think probably that feeling of nerves must have been almost like quite overwhelming for you to even come on and do the video. Because if I literally, even if we're on holiday for like a couple of weeks, or I don't know, you know, that period where I move out of my house when we rent it out and I can't film for that couple of weeks, when I come back to filming, I really am very thrown off and feel very sort of nervous about filming. So I don't know how long it was that you were actually not filming for. I mean, it felt like quite a long time. I'm sure that you know exactly how long it is, but yeah, I mean, perhaps it was a year, I don't know. But so to go that long without filming, it must have been very nerve-wracking, I'm sure, to come back and do a video. So yeah, welcome back, and it's so lovely to see you back. Honestly, I mean, I know we've said all this before, but we've got such a lovely community, haven't we? And obviously over the time, you know, we've lost our lovely Rhonda in that time, and you know, I'm sure that I'm not alone in that we all still miss her terribly. And you know, again, obviously still think of her family and things, and hope that they're all doing okay and things. But yeah, and she'd fought so bravely against her battle with cancer, and I mean, she was so upbeat always, and oh, she was so frank and open about her treatments and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, wow, just what a courageous lady she was. But I just think we've got this really lovely community, haven't we? And it is very noticeable when anybody's absent from it. So yeah, definitely having Joey back is like, yay, she's back, you know, which is so lovely. And I don't know whether all communities on here on YouTube are like that. I mean, they possibly are. Obviously, I wouldn't know because I'm not part of those other communities. But, you know, obviously there's a big gaming community on here. There's probably a big, oh, I don't know. I mean, I follow a couple of people like, say, who do yoga on here and things like that. Perhaps they have like a yoga community. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not actively part of any other community, if you see what I mean. I might watch some videos, but I'm not sort of watching them frequently. I don't get to know people's names or anything like that like we do here. But yeah, so it's very noticeable, isn't it, when somebody is absent, and it's then obviously very noticeable when they come back and you think, hey, they're back, you know, which is lovely, lovely, lovely. So yeah, really lovely to see her back. I've got her video on the jewelry for junk journals in my watch later list. I'm constantly having to remove things out. Oh gosh, what's going on with my stapler now? Constantly having to remove things out of my watch later list, which is pretty annoying because I add things to it and then it says it's full up. Obviously, again, it's a little bit like my craft room in that I need to now have a bit of housekeeping on there and get rid of a lot of things that I've probably watched, you know, 3 years ago, and they're still sat in that watch later list. Because what happens, you know, I might watch them when I'm, say, at the gym, And then, I don't know, I might get chatting to someone and things, and it will just play on, you know, whilst I'm chatting. And so it's then gone like 4 down. So I forget then to go back and obviously remove the one that I haven't watched. If that makes sense. So, yeah. Sorry, very annoying when your stapler plays up, isn't it? Especially when you're doing a video. Come on. Yeah, so anyway, I do need to obviously do a bit of housekeeping in there because it's constantly saying it's full up, and you're allowed 5,000 videos in there. So I mean, clearly I don't need 5,000 videos in my watch later list, because when am I going to get through 5,000 videos, for goodness sake? Plus, oops, have I done one of these? Yeah. Yeah, when am I going to get through 5,000 videos? And plus, I have probably watched half of those already. So ridiculous. But hey, there we go. Right, let's count how many we have done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot that I haven't done these. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've done 14. I'd forgotten that we hadn't glued the backs of them down. So we'll just very quickly go through and glue those backs down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we've made a lot, haven't we? Which is awesome. I will try and put some more paper clips in my shop this week, actually, because I know that they're quite popular normally. So yes, I will try and put some more of those in as well. There we go. Oops, lucky I'm using the hot glue, isn't it? Because otherwise this would be way slower than this, having to keep pressing it down, making sure it's actually, you know, glued together, stuck together properly. Okay. Oops. There we go. Oh, I can't wait for it to be summer. I do like the changing of the seasons, but I think with winter it does get to the point where it's kind of like, oh, I'm over it now. Come on. Could do with a bit of summer now. I mean, I've got like a jumper dress on today, and it's really quite thick. You know, quite thick. And this huge, very thick, chunky cardigan on over the top of it. And I'm still quite chilly. I mean, I can't say that I'm very warm. So yeah, really can't wait for summer. Yeah, it's very I don't know, winter just seems very long, doesn't it? It's like, oh gosh, it's still winter. I think probably, yeah, I like winter when it first comes round, you know, and you think, oh brilliant, gonna have soup, and you know, and then it pretty quickly gets to the point where it's like, well, I'm over the soup now, come on. Over the soup, over the jumpers, over the having my heating on, all of that kind of stuff. And Bo, she definitely doesn't like going out in the garden in the bad weather. So yeah, she definitely prefers it in the summer. Oh, she's so cute. Sometimes, you know, in the night she obviously gets chilly. Like what she'll do, she'll start out under the covers, normally sort of round about my knees or my feet, and then sometimes she'll get too hot, so she'll get out of the covers and she'll go on the top of the cover, and then she'll get too cold, normally around about sort of, I don't know, half an hour before I'm due to get up, and she'll just get back under the cover, and she goes like, I'm on my side, and she goes in that little nook, in that space in front of my tummy. Oh my goodness, that is my favourite place to be in the world. She's so warm and snug, and it's just so lovely and gorgeous. Yeah, like nothing lovelier. absolutely nothing lovelier. She's like a little hot water bottle. It's so nice. So yeah. Oh, she's asleep at the moment beside me. Well, she's probably listening in to what I'm saying, but yeah. Right, okay, so I brought along a couple of the Love Collection papers that I've printed onto smaller size. Please excuse my printer. I need to obviously do the alignment again. It's printing very wonky on the page. But just so as I can show you, like, these are the ones, like, you know, these are the sort of lovey type pictures that I said about. So I'm going to just take one of these. So I'm going to just take this one, I think. Just going to tear it down. And we'll just do this on here somewhere. Okay. Oh my goodness. I mean, how gorgeous is that? I'll just check that I want it on that one. And is that one bigger? Yeah, it might be better on the slightly longer one. So yeah, now I will just ink these up. I did try and do quite a few of the plainer pages in the Love Collection. Like I say, there's just a few pages with the images of the couples and things, just so they're not so heavily Valentine-y. You know, hopefully they've got lots of other times that you could use them and lots of other uses, you know, not just only for Valentine's. So let's just grab a bit of lace. I don't know whether this is quite right, but it just happens to be the lace that's, you know, down beside me. So just take that. Okay. Oops. Like that. Okay. Do I want the lace on there or coming out there? Oh, I think over here. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. Now, it will overhang a bit, but that's okay. I don't mind that. But what I'll do, I'm just going to put my card at the top of that pocket so that if my glue is overhanging, I don't actually glue that pocket closed. You know, I don't glue this down to the background. So we'll just pop that on. Oh, I've put way too much glue on. It's going to have loads of glue now where it's overhanging. Totally forgot that it was overhanging on the bottom and the top. Okay, that's okay. There we go. Like that. Oops. Okay, that looks very cute, doesn't it? And then, do I have any pink butterflies? Let's just see. Oh, that's very annoying, isn't it? I don't really seem to have any pink ones. I've got these green ones. They would probably go okay. Just see if I've got any pink ones here. I seem to have brought along an awful lot of stuff for decorating. I don't know how many of these I thought I was going to be doing. But yeah, I've got loads of things here. Loads and loads of things here for decorating. So, yeah. Clearly not going to get through half of these. Let me just see if I've got any pink butterflies in my fussy cutting box or pouch that I still have not got round to actually doing anything with. So filled it right up when we did the X-Files series. You know, loads of things went into there. And now I've still got the whole pouch full because I've not had any chance to actually get cutting. So yeah, got a lot of cutting to do. Oh, here we go. I knew I must have some pink ones somewhere. I don't know why I got the labels out really, but I just thought, oh, let's see. At first I got these ones out and then I spotted these. So just see if we want to have a little label on here at all. Don't know about this, but let's just try this. Oh, that's pretty cute, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. And then the butterflies. Maybe that pale one. Okay. So those are just my labels set to, and these are obviously just my pale butterflies. Okie dokie. Just ink that up. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? So let's just pop this down here. Okay, like that. And then butterfly. Now, do we like the butterfly up there or down here? I think maybe up here, strangely enough. And then maybe a little bit of bling on the pocket as well. So just pop that down there. Don't know why I used the hot glue, really. It wasn't necessary, but it was just what was accessible. Well, not that was what was accessible, because obviously my other glue's just still sat there, but it was right by my hand is what I mean. Oops. Okay. Let's just pop this on. Maybe pop that down there. Maybe even just that way around. There we go. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous is that? Absolutely lovely, isn't it? So then obviously you've just got that small pocket, which, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying this, but if I just took this down and this one like that, and you've got that pocket there, so you could just put something, you know, into that little pocket. So I mean, they're pretty cute, aren't they? To be honest, I do really like them. So if I just show you how that would look on a page. Okay, so bring in this one again, this from my love collection. Just pop that on there, and that's how that would look just on that page. So very cute, isn't it? So yeah, I really hope that you like them. I hope you have fun making them. They're, you know, very quick and easy, but a nice addition to have for your junk journals. And yeah, thank you so much. Don't forget, obviously, if you wanted to see the journal or anything, they're all on my website. And yeah, thank you so much. Love to hear your comments in the chat below. You know, do let me know what you think to the love collection papers. Do you like them having a bit less Valentine-y connotations, you know, or would you have preferred them with more Valentine stuff? Let me know what you think if you're a content creator. Do you also struggle, you know, do you go into that non-video mode? Yeah, all of that. And really appreciate a big thumbs up for this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.